It's a very serious situation the district takes very seriously.
Right now we're hearing from the Madison School District officials after a student was caught with a loaded gun.
And the state Senate passes a bill to make sure first responders can access mental health resources.
Plus, several fast food restaurants in our area are being fined for violating child labor laws.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Developing tonight, a West High School student has been arrested for allegedly bringing a loaded gun to the high school today. Officials received a tip just before 10 o'clock this morning that a student may have had a firearm, and the school immediately put response protocols in place. According to an incident report, a school resource officer made contact with 18-year-old Tyrese Williams and found the loaded gun in his backpack.
This is a very serious situation and very unfortunate. However, one thing that we can take away from today was everything worked. Everyone did what they were supposed to. We continuously tell our kids, if you see something, say something. And that is what happened today. And we were able to respond quickly enough to address the issue.
Officials say no one at school saw him with the weapon. Madison police are handling the investigation while school officials will follow up with school consequences. Last week, more than 100 firefighters pleaded with lawmakers to make it easier for them to get treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder.
And today they are one step closer. Amy Reed joins us now with an update from the Capitol. Amy?
Today, the Senate passed a bill that removes a barrier for professional police officers and firefighters to file a workers' comp claim when they're getting treated for PTSD. As the law is currently written, these first responders have to prove their trauma is at a higher level than the standard for their profession. In a high-stress job, that can throw out a lot of claims. That's why a bipartisan group of senators and representatives are trying to change it and remove that standard. But this isn't the first time they've tried. Last session, there was a bill that extended the barrier breakdown to EMS and volunteer first responders too, which some senators wanted added again.
If volunteer firefighters are excluded, and that is the majority, that's all but 162 of our fire departments in the state of Wisconsin, 863. What are we doing? What are we doing?
We spoke to a spokesperson for one author. They told us the issue with extending this to volunteers is that they don't pay into workers' comp, so it's difficult to write provisions that allow them to pull from it. As it stands now, this still has to pass the Assembly. We don't have a timeline for that, and the author said that they do see this bill as a first step, and hopefully in the future they want to extend this to at least EMTs.
Amy Reed, live at the state capitol. Amy, thank you.
A conservative law firm wants the state Supreme Court to reverse a lower court's order putting a hold on a ruling that would delete more than 200,000 voters from the rolls. Attorneys for the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty asked the court today to overturn the January 14th decision. It also asked the High Court to undo the stay of a contempt order against the Elections Commission. The lower court issued that after the commission didn't move forward with the voter purge. Right now, the city of Madison Clerk's office is accepting absentee ballot requests for the 2020 elections. Before requesting one, you are asked to verify your voter registration at myvote.wi.gov. You can submit your absentee request form there or use the form on the city clerk's website. We have that information on channel3000.com.
Another longtime Democratic senator says he will not seek re-election in the fall. Senator Mark Miller of Monona made that announcement today. A former fighter pilot who has served in the Senate since 2004, including serving as minority leader from 2011 to 2012 during those Act 10 protests. Representative Melissa Sargent tells the State Journal she'll run to replace him, and former gubernatorial candidate Kelda Roy is also considering a run for that seat. Democratic Senator Dave Hansen of Green Bay also announced his retirement earlier this month. Looking ahead, Vice President Mike Pence making a trip to Madison next week. He'll be in town for the Wisconsin School Choice Student Showcase on Tuesday. Vice President Pence was in Milwaukee for President Trump's rally just last week, and he's made several stops in Wisconsin last year, including Marinette in November. And former National Security Advisor John Bolton will be a guest speaker in Wausau in April. He'll speak at the Public Issues series through Wisconsin Public Institute for Public Policy and Service. Bolton was President Trump's third national security advisor. He is known for advocating military action abroad. He resigned in September.
Well, it was a bit warmer, or it's going to be a bit warmer tomorrow, thank goodness, but another chance for snow. Let's check your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canaldi.
You know, this is the third straight day, Charlotte, where temperatures have been below normal, but only the 6th day this month and only the 10th day since the start of meteorological winter back on December 1st. So it's been milder, much more than it has been cold. On Doppler track, things pretty quiet across Wisconsin. There are some light snow showers starting to show up in parts of eastern South Dakota. Those will reach us by tomorrow afternoon. Low temperatures this morning were pretty cold. Here in Madison, we dropped to 1 degree above zero, but temperatures were below zero to our west, including 6 below zero down in the Wisconsin River Valley and Lone Rock. And high temperatures today were in the lower to middle 20s, although Janesville did top out at 27 degrees. Temperatures have dropped into the upper teens to around 20 degrees. They'll probably fall a few more degrees into the middle teens before they start rising overnight. And by tomorrow, look for a high temperature of 32 with some light snow developing in the afternoon. I'll tell you how much snow we can expect in just a few minutes.
New at 6, Madison police say Mother Nature helped them arrest a teen known to police for stealing vehicles. Officers were sent to Birch Hill Drive on Madison's west side over the weekend because someone noticed the rear windows of an SUV had been left down overnight. Police say a 15-year-old was asking a homeowner in the area if he could borrow an ice scraper to clear the windows of a stolen Honda Pilot. The teen was taken to the Juvenile Reception Center.
City of Milwaukee Bomb Squad has determined a suspicious package at the Social Security Administration building in Sheboygan was not dangerous. Police initially said the package was, quote, suspicious in nature and placement. A safety perimeter was established around the building as a precautionary measure, but all roads are now back open. And an Ozaukee County man is facing charges for bringing a loaded gun to Mitchell Airport in Milwaukee today. TSA officers caught the handgun when the man removed his coat, placed it on the conveyor belt to go through the checkpoint X-ray machine. The man told officials he didn't know he was carrying the gun and thought it was inside a different jacket. A TSA spokesperson says the mistake will cost the man $770 plus up to $13,000 when the TSA opens a civil case against him.
An alleged member of a white supremacist group is behind bars for reportedly vandalizing a synagogue in Racine. Congregation members found swastikas, anti-Semitic words, and the symbol for a white supremacist group plastered on the outside of the building in September. On Friday, investigators arrested 22-year-old Yosef Barnesna of Oak Creek on federal charges of conspiracy. According to court documents, court records, he's a member of a neo-Nazi extremist group. The Middleton Cross Plains School District says a Middleton High School staff member who allegedly separated students by race and ethnicity for a math and literacy exam is still on paid leave. The district says the incident happened on Wednesday, October 16th, during the school's STAR Math and Literacy test for 9th and 10th grade students. Perry Hebner, director of communications for the district, says he thought there would be a resolution by December, but is still under investigation.
The U.S. Department of Labor found that 99 Wendy's and Fazoli's restaurants have violated child labor laws for 14 and 15-year-old employees. That includes restaurants in our area.
The franchise has to pay a penalty of more than $150,000. Our Amanda Quintana is here with more on the laws they broke and how many local teens are affected.
Yes, this investigation includes 9 states and almost 450 minors, with 40 of those restaurants located in Wisconsin. But the State Department of Workforce Development says it didn't know about the federal investigation until the findings were released today.
I looked them up in our system and we've had no complaints against that entity, either the Wendy's or Fazoli's.
7 Wendy's in Madison, Fitchburg, Sun Prairie, and Janesville, and 1 Fazoli's, just a handful of the 99 restaurants found to have violated child labor laws. In our area, making 38 teens work too many hours or outside of the time minors are allowed to work. But Wisconsin's Equal Rights Division didn't get calls about any of them.
It's always disappointing to know that employers are, I have to say shirking in this case because they're a national company.
Jim Ciolino says if the Department of Workforce Development knew about this, they would have investigated themselves and found the violations. But oftentimes, kids don't want to call in a report when they're given more hours.
Kids feel that they want to work. They want to work those hours, even though it's not in compliance with the law. We know that happens, so they're not going to complain in many cases.
The state's child labor laws are similar to the federal ones in an effort to protect teens from being taken advantage of and to keep them in school.
During the school year, kids under 16 14 and 15, generally speaking, can work between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. only, a maximum of 3 hours per day, and they can't work during school hours.
Ciolino hopes seeing the franchise get disciplined will deter other employers from not following the rules, because without a complaint from a parent or school, it's hard for them to know where to look.
But we don't have a lot of investigative power to be out there everywhere at all times.
Since the franchise is already being penalized on a federal level, the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development will not be opening a state investigation into the restaurants. I'm told the federal penalties are much harsher than the state ones anyway.
Amanda, thank you.
Next at 6, the City of Madison committee meeting is getting lots of attention, including some from a late-night talk show.
We'll share what Jimmy Kimmel has to say about a local alder's tough questions regarding a liquor license request. Stay with us.
Give your home.
New data shows Wisconsin hunters killed nearly 50,000 fewer deer last year compared to 2018. A DNR report shows hunters killed 288,000 deer across all seasons in 2019. They attribute the drop-off to the season's late start and poor weather. There were almost 12,000 fewer licenses sold in 2019 compared to 2018. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development today announcing nearly $2.2 billion in grants to support thousands of local homeless assistance programs across the nation. Now, that includes nearly $25 million for programs here in Wisconsin. They say that funding will support a broad array of interventions designed to assist individuals and families experiencing homelessness.
The state Senate has unanimously approved a bill to allow UW-Madison researchers to request funding to recover missing Wisconsin soldiers' remains. The bill allows the Missing in Action Recovery and Identification Project to ask the state for $360,000 over the next 2 fiscal years to fund searches. The project's founder says about 1,500 Wisconsin soldiers have disappeared in action since World War II. The bill now goes to the Assembly. UW-Madison is hosting a trailblazer tonight for its Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Lecture. Dr. Mae Jemison, the first woman of color in space, logged 126 orbits of the Earth during a nearly 8-day trip aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour in September of 1992. She has been inducted into both the National Women's Hall of Fame and the International Space Hall of Fame. And to add to the list, Jemison is the founder and president of 2 medical technology companies. The lecture is free and open to the public tonight at 6:30 at Varsity Hall in Union South.
Clip from a City of Madison Alcohol License and Review Committee meeting is going viral online. It's part of a story we brought you last week about the confusion surrounding a new venue opening in the place of the former Plan B and Prism nightclubs on Willie Street. At an ALRC hearing on Thursday, Canopy's owner, Austin Carl, responded to concerns neighbors had with previous establishments at that location. The line of questioning between he and Alder Michael Donnelly got so much attention, it actually ended up on Jimmy Kimmel last night.
I want to be somewhere where people can come and sit and relax, not party and get wild and cause complaints.
I want to make sure I heard something right. You were saying, so your vision is not a nightclub and this is not a place for people to get wild? Is that what you said?
I'm sure if we check the records, that's probably the case.
Is this your website?
Mm-hmm.
That says get wild?
See, that's the guy I want asking questions in the Senate of the impeachment trial.
After 2 hours of discussion at the meeting, the committee referred the item to its meeting next month.
Paris sounds good right now.
Making headlines.
Coming up in sports, the Bucks are preparing for the first ever regular season game in Paris. Melissa Kim has those details coming up.
That sounds good. Not as cold as tomorrow, but we're expecting some light snow, and Gary will have the details next in your First Alert forecast.
For first, fast, accurate weather updates, watch First Alert Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joins us now, and it's a cold one out there today.
It is, but you know, I mean, this is typical January cold. We haven't had very much of it the entire winter. Yeah, so you know, 3 days of cold weather, all of a sudden you feel the chill, but temperatures are going to warm right back up. In fact, on Doppler track, the leading edge of the warmer air is already starting to generate some light snow through the eastern portions of South Dakota. That will move eastward and eventually affect us from later tomorrow afternoon into Thursday and Friday. And three things you need to know in the forecast: those rising temperatures will start tonight. We'll probably drop to the middle teens by about mid-evening, and then those temperatures will start rising. And by morning, they'll already be in the lower 20s, and look for highs tomorrow in the lower 30s. Light snow is likely from tomorrow, especially in the afternoon, into Thursday and Friday. Could be mixed with some rain at times south of Madison, especially Thursday and Friday afternoon. There'll also be some areas of fog. And Not much sun is expected all the way into next week. With a little bit of melting snow and adding a little bit of moisture to the air, we're just going to see a lot of cloud cover through that time period. So we take a look at future track beginning at 1 p.m. on Wednesday. You can see some light snow pushing in. Continues through much of Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Thursday could mix a little rain south of Madison as winds start to become a little more southeasterly. That'll be the case again on Friday, light snow overnight, and then mix of rain and snow Friday afternoon before it comes to an end, or at least tapers down to flurries by Saturday. We do have alert days in the forecast for tomorrow night into Thursday for light snow. Also some areas of fog that could reduce visibility. About an inch of snow expected at that time. And then for Thursday and Friday, some light snow. Mainly south of Madison, there could be a mix of rain and snow. That could make the roads a little bit slippery. And there could be some additional accumulations, maybe on the order of 1 to 2 inches. As far as impact is concerned, driving impact, not too much of a problem. I mean, there'll be some slippery spots, but this is not expected to be a major snow event. Not seeing much in the way of freezing rain threat, although a mix of rain and snow sometimes could make the streets a little slushy. And then as far as clearing it, shouldn't be too much of a problem with the relatively light accumulations. But temperatures are definitely on the mild side. Average high temperature goes from 26 to 27. Notice those temperatures above normal for every one of the next 10 days, and even beyond that. The 8 to 14-day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center calling for about a 60% chance of above normal temperatures into early February, with above normal precipitation expected. Some of this will be in the form of rain and snow mix. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. There were hockey players out on the ice earlier that we were watching. 23 the high for today after starting out just above 0-1. Right now we're at 20 degrees. The skies are clouding up, and winds out of the south at 8 miles per hour will prevent temperatures from getting too much colder. They're going to start rising overnight. Here comes the next weather system. Snow on the northern edge, rain down to the south. That mix of rain and snow most likely staying farther to the south. But again, south of Madison, there could be the possibility for a wintry mix of precipitation. And you can see temperatures right now, teens and 20s here. On the other side of that warm front, temperatures are generally in the 30s and low 40s. We're not going to make the 40s because of the snow cover, but still 30s are a pretty good bet beginning tomorrow. 15 for the overnight low temperature. That'll probably be in the next couple of hours, and then temperatures will start rising overnight. And tomorrow will be cloudy with some light snow developing, especially in the afternoon. High temperature topping out at 32 degrees. On future track, see the clouds coming in overnight. Those temperatures starting to rise into the low 20s by tomorrow morning. Light snow will arrive by tomorrow afternoon with high temperatures in the low 30s. Light snow likely for tomorrow night into Thursday morning, and then Thursday afternoon. Notice these temperatures getting up closer to the freezing mark. There could be a little bit of a mix of rain and snow south of Madison. Snowfall amounts for tomorrow night, generally around an inch through much of southern Wisconsin. 7 to 10 day forecast. Notice those temperatures staying in the mid 30s. Another chance of snow toward the end of next week.
Well, as the Badgers start to find their groove on offense, Greg Gard says there's still a few things they need to do to be even better. The story next in sports.
News
Well, the Badgers men's basketball team still in the beginning chunk of the conference schedule, teetering around that 500 mark with a 4-3 record in the Big Ten. Now, the good news, though, Wisconsin, they've won 10 of 14 against Nebraska. The Huskers at the Kohl Center tonight. Tip-off at 8 o'clock on BTN. So, head coach Greg Gard has about 8 games to get the feel of the 9 guys that he has right now, but especially with the addition of Micah Potter, the offense still needing some time to get into a regular rotation. But once they get there, easy peasy, according to Coach Gard.
It's really simple. I mean, if you take care of the ball and make shots, you're going to be good offensively regardless of what you run or who you have on the floor. It's finding those combinations, and I like the group of 9. I mean, I think we've done some good things, and the challenge keeps coming each game to be better.
And Packers head coach Matt LaFleur will chat with reporters for some final thoughts on the season tomorrow. And Brian Gutekunst on Friday. But now the attention also turning to the NFL draft, which will start on April 23rd in Paradise, Nevada, which is just outside of Las Vegas. Several key players on the Packers are reaching the end of their deals. Here are some of the big needs in the draft this time around. With Blake Martinez done with his contract, Tramon Williams as well. The Packers also signing 10 free agents today, all of whom were on the practice squad. So again, we'll get some final thoughts from the general manager later this week. Now, this is pretty cool. Former Badger and Pewaukee native J.J. Watt will host Saturday Night Live next Saturday, the day before the Super Bowl. The show making the announcement this afternoon. Watt will be the guest host alongside country musician Luke Combs. Past NFL player hosts include Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and John Madden. Hopefully, he name drops the Badgers or at least something Wisconsin, at the very, very least. Come on. Brett Bielema with a new role in the NFL. The former Wisconsin and Arkansas head coach joining the New York Giants coaching staff. His actual role and contract are still being finalized, according to NFL Network. Bielema spent the past 2 seasons as the Patriots D-line coach. Finally, the Bucks have already had the best record in the NBA. Now they're making history by playing the first ever regular season game in Paris. The team arrived in France earlier today, and the NBA France posting this video to Twitter. They'll play the Hornets this Friday. It's the first time in Paris for a handful of the players. Giannis said he's been there once. Chris Middleton apparently went to Paris in college as part of a class trip. But that was about it. And a lot of the guys, they showed them wearing like compression, like, leggings and socks and stuff like that to kind of keep their bodies in check as they travel.
Long plane ride for those tall guys.
I know, right? Getting your feet all cramped, and I hate that in the planes too. So,
It'll be. You're not 6'11", though.
I'm only 5'5". It's fine.
So there's that.
I don't think they're flying economy.
No, they got some leg room.
Yeah.
Well, temperatures right now right around 20. They'll probably go down a couple of degrees this evening before start rising overnight.
Gary, thanks. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.